We all know that Wike has a lot of enemies, and Dele Momodu is one of them. So in this video, he exposed a lot of things about Wike, some top secrets that we did not know anything about, because this man Wike have done so much harm than good. If I should list what this man have done bad in Nigeria, a man that has properties in Florida, the same man that said that nobody should send their children abroad, was the same man that went abroad to go and congratulate his son, snap picture and posted online for all to see. This is the kind of government where we have leaders that cannot even stand on their words. Just watch the video and let me go to views in the comment section.
A lot of people will imagine that you and Minister Wike have a level of closeness, that in fact he gave you a job and you lived with you were in River State. But the big question is that there are those who say you collected money from Minister Wike, and was it right to say you took money from him, or you were at some point housed in River State? But now, what went wrong? How did you both now side to be enemies?
Well, let me start with some of the messages I received early this morning. A former Attorney General reached out to me and pleaded with me not to wrestle with a pig. He advised that I should not wrestle with it. So I will set the record straight. So I'm not here to wrestle with someone who is absolutely shameless, who does not care about anything in this world other than his alcohol. What we witnessed on television last Friday was the height of recklessness and irresponsibility on the part of someone employed by the federal government of Nigeria to look after the interests of every Nigerian and not just that of his cronies, whether in PDP or in APC. It went beyond normal. And so, to answer your question frontally, I was a media consultant to Nyesom Wike around 2022, and you have the video there. I had interviewed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on this very table. And thereafter, some people reached out to me that I should give Wike a right of reply because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu blasted him heavily that day. And of course, as a responsible journalist, I accepted to speak to him. He was very excited, and during the interview, he reached out directly, you have the video, that I should bring the Ovation team for 2 weeks. He said it with his own mouth. We didn't beg him. My job is my job. I don't ever joke with my job, and I respect whosoever is a client. Wike at that stage was still a bit normal. I would like to dissect Wike's metamorphosis. If you read Wole Soyinka's Jero's metamorphosis, that's what has happened to Wike. Wike started from the spirit, the demonic spirit of power. You know, when a man who has been a nobody gets power, he begins to change slowly and steadily. I don't know if you've read the book by the Brazilian author Paulo Freire, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. The oppressed man respects only one man, his oppressor. Wike used to respect Rotimi Amaechi. And Rotimi Amaechi had been my friend from the time he was Speaker of the River State House of Assembly. On one occasion, when they had their parliamentary conference in Accra, Ghana, Chief Rotimi Amaechi led our parliamentarians to my house in Accra, including the former governor of Absina, Aminu Mafari. They all ate in my house. In fact, Mafari told me that was the first time he would enjoy eba and okra. I never went on air to disparage them that okra fell on their garments. But that is Wike. So, after that, what happened was Wike got power. He became chairman of Phobia for local government. And that was when his metamorphosis started. Of course, after power in Nigeria comes the spirit of money. Also very demonic if you don't know how to manage it well. So Wike started making small money. He pretended to be supporting his boss, Rotimi Amechi, and then thereafter, he had enough money to drink his choice alcohol from Akpeteshi, otherwise known as Gogoro. He started drinking the most expensive alcohol. I went into Google before this interview to check if there is any similarity or correlation between alcohol and drugs. And I got the confirmation I needed. That in fact, alcohol and drugs are one and the same. They perform the same effect in the drinker and the drunkard. So what I saw on display last Friday on your show showed a man who was absolutely soaked in esoteric spirits. A man who was on a different planet. He was no longer on our planet. Yes, I said it, yes. My appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that no matter what you are expecting to gain from Wike in 2027, Wike is not the kind of character you should promote. He's not the kind of young man who should hijack our common patrimony. So, as I said, he brought us into Port Harcourt. He took us everywhere. You can see, he even gave me his Mercedes, his Maybach, his everything. I could do no wrong. When he could not face Nnamdi Kanu's guys in, Oyigbo. Do you know, I was the one who went in there as a journalist to talk to the people. Like you can see him. He took me personally around the hospital he was building in the State House. I wish we had the voice. Then you would have seen the way he was introducing me, the great journalist, the great this, the great that. That's Wike for you. When Wike needs you, when Wike needed Dr. Odili, he was very meek. When he needed the impatient Jonathan, he was very meek. If Wike needs you, he will do anything in this life. You can see me sitting down in front of him. That is his car. He told them to remove the flag. That was his official car. I appreciated him for it because he was telling me how he used to watch me and his boss, Amici, in those days, flying helicopter. And I think the only time I flew an helicopter in Rivers was when we went for the funeral of then Vice President Goodluck Jonathan in Otuoke. So we had to take the helicopter to go there. Wale Babalaki, I think Iyabo Obasanjo was on that flight with us. So he's been watching us for a long time. And sometimes, again, referring to pedagogy of the oppressed man, according to Paulo Freire, has only one dream in life, to become an oppressor. So when an oppressed man becomes an oppressor, he will go all out.
Yeah. So, because the description, just a moment.
To now act worse than his former oppressor. Yes.
Yeah, Chief Dele Momodu, you appear to have benefited financially, of course, from Mr. Nyesom Wike. At what point did you fall out with him? What went wrong? Because you explained your history, which is part of your...
Mr. Nyesom Wike benefited immensely from my talents and from the pedigree of the Operation Media Group. We touched him up. They say sometimes you can take a man out of the bush, but you cannot take the bush out of the man. We worked on Wike and he was happy. Every morning, when I'm in Port Harcourt, he will ask me to come to his house. We will make sure he dressed up very properly. We make sure that even we did a bit of speech therapy, telling him how to speak to people. But he had one major problem. That major problem was too much alcohol, which when he takes it, and he takes it as early as possible in the morning. I've never tasted gin and tonic in my life. He introduced me to it, that it's a very good drink and everything. I'm surprised he wasn't talking about all those drinks. He was talking about only food. So What then happened was that at some stage, I realized that he had presidential ambition. And I also had presidential ambition. Wike cannot take competition with anybody. So I now wrote a letter to him that my biggest asset is my access to the high and mighty and also the ordinary citizens of Nigeria. Everywhere I go, I meet them. And I told him that in the north of Nigeria, you know something, Wike has a pathological hatred for the northerners because of whatever, I don't know. So I told him, I said, it's going to be difficult for him to get the ticket of the PDP. And I wanted to announce to him that in case he decides not to run, he should support me. From that moment, he got angry. But what I said came true. A former president of Nigeria sent someone to me, someone very, very top, that they should tell me not to waste my money on the PDP primary, that Wike had raised the stakes to $30,000 per delegate, 30,000 times 774 delegates. Of course, if you were to sell my family from first generation to the last generation, there was no way I was going to come up with that. And even if I could come up with that, I will never waste it. So you could hear Wike saying on your program, just before the primaries, on your program, when you asked him, so what do you think about the new entrants like Dele Momodu, and he just went, who is Dele Momodu? That was where our trouble started. What I expected of him was that if you're not going to support him, if you are going to run a fair race, and then let's leave it there. I wrote a letter, I copied the former Attorney General. Yes?
Let me ask you, what caused all of these furore and led to personal attacks is a question mark on those of you who are leading the opposition coalition. The question as to whether or not some of you have the credentials of the message of the gospel you are preaching right now to Nigerians. You're saying you're looking for a new Nigeria. You are bringing back a Nigeria that is different. But what is the credential of some of you? And those of you who have, you not apparently, because you have not been in power, those who have been in power for several years, and he's questioned those who have not really had the requisite experience and capacity. The big question is that the ABC, the opposition coalition, and those who are leading it don't have what it takes morally to lead Nigeria at the time. That was a big question Mr. Wike was asking all of you.
Mr. Wike did not know what he was talking about. There is no nation that is governed by saints. Nations are governed by performance. Leadership is not about politics. It is about managing people and resources. Please tell me how many politicians that we have today, whether in APC or in ADC or in PDP, who have done any business in their lives successfully. So it will be an insult to some of us who have labored all our lives. I've been in politics since 1982 when I was 22 years old, and I've never been in any government. But I've interacted with global leaders, and none of them has two heads. It's about how you are able to manage people and resources. If you look today, you want to tell me that Peter Obi has not managed people and resources? You want to tell me that Atiku Abubakar has not managed people and resources? I mean, that would be unfair. So if you look at those caliber of people and you rubbish them as doing nothing. I knew, for example, when Atiku was vice president of Nigeria and how the economy was managed at the time, and the quality of young men he surrounded himself with in Aso Rock. I used to go there in those days. And by the way, most of them were from the south of Nigeria. Until today, the work we did for him from 2022 to 2023, I saw the quality of people around him. So it's unfair for Wike to come here. What has Wike done in his life? If he ever practiced, he would have been a charge and bail lawyer if he ever practiced law. Charge and bail.
Mr. Momodu, let's take a moment. I'd like to know, because it does look like you favor Mr. Atiku Abubakar in getting the ticket of the opposition, because In part of what I've read about your views is the fact that you think Atiku Abubakar is the biggest and the nicest gateway for the opposition to be able to defeat Bola Tinubu and the APC in 2027. The big question here, Chief Dele Momodu, is what the ADC and the opposition coalition platform has to offer Nigerians. You are of the opinion that it is either Atiku Abubakar or the opposition does not have a chance. Why would you say so?
And I never said that. I said the best choice would be my candidate, which is what I expect obedience to say, which I expect those who are supporting Amechi to say. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm looking at number one, the numbers. This game is a game of number. And the people who are most aggrieved today are from northern part of Nigeria. And if you listen to Wike very well, they are all campaigning that the next president should still come from southern Nigeria. But they know very well that there is no southerner today. The only one who could have attempted it is Wike. And since he's already supporting Ashwaju, is not available. So the moment you see people waging a campaign of calumny against Atiku, you must know they feel threatened about Atiku. Even my brother, who is about to come on now, I listened to him a few days ago, appealing to Atiku to come and join Tinubu. They all know how formidable it is. Since 1993, when he stepped down from our adopted father, who sadly died on this day in 1998. Since then, the man has been pursuing his ambition without having any state governor to give him money. He's been running his business, investing in education, investing in agriculture. For me, this is a good example of what a leader should be in Nigeria. You will never find a talk in front of Atiku's house. Atiku will never call us, and Daniel was there to come and tell him how we can find someone in INEC to come and read on his behalf. For me, these are things that are appreciated by him. And it is my right to say those things. I've never asked anyone not to support. Obi is my very good friend. Today, if you ask me one of the people that I believe should lead the coalition, it will be Obi. And as a Democrat, I'm appealing to them. I hope they'll be able to do it democratically so that they will not say, oh, they forced one person on them. Let them all go to the field. Let all obedience campaign for Obi. Let all those articulates campaign for articulates. And let the Amechis campaign for Amechi. So that is my belief. And I don't think there is anything wrong with that. Only certificated Modaru people will go against such an arrangement. And I'm happy that the coalition is fully ready and prepared. It's a movement this time, unlike the APC. You know, when the APC started, a handful of people just left a few political parties and came together. But this time around, it's a movement. You can see the way the tsunami is starting already. I'm very proud.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dele Momodu. There are those who are saying it's going to be almost a difficult task to be able to defeat Bola Tinubu and the APC in 2027.
Well, people will say that, but we are not God. Sometimes these things are destined. So let's wait and see.
You cannot even list the things that Wike have done for us or have brought on Nigerians. Talk more of what they have done in Abuja. And the worst part is that nobody is even trying to stop him. Wike is feel like a god. Look at what he did to River State. Wike had destroyed River State. Just because of a disagreement between you and Fubara, you destroyed River State. And the worst part I said is that there's nothing that's been done by the government. Wike is busy destroying everything. Feeling like a god. Wike, that's so reported, that has 3 properties in Florida. What are those children doing? Because those properties belong to the son or the children of Wike. What are the children doing? What is Wike doing aside politics? Then ask yourself, where are those money coming from? The money are coming from the public funds. And then we are here crying of poverty, crying of no alleviating poverty scheme in Nigeria, crying that there is no employment in Nigeria. But our government, our leaders are taking our money to establish their family outside Nigeria, outside their own country. Outside their own country. This is how bad it has gotten to. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's very bad. Outside Nigeria, this is where they are investing our public funds, and then we are crying that they are borrowing money. We don't have money, subsidy, tax here and there, but we are not seeing the money that we are paying for. Then make it make sense. Make it make sense. I'll see you guys in my next video. Your views in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to support again. Stay tuned guys on to my next video.